genre à mentir et à ma félicité. La seule personne qui aurait pu le faire, la seule personne dont la présence et le réconfort me manquaient, vivait de l'autre côté de la Manche avec un homme plus fiable, plus agréable et plus disponible.
Shit. In fact, for a large part of the world, it could be argued that some humans, by no fault of their own, currently live in a state of relative cultural ignorance. Until we've got our ID card or paid our government the price of a passport, we are confined to one's land, its culture, and its people. That, my friends, is the paperback coming out October 22nd. It's lighter, it's brighter. It's in my former favorite color, green. You know, as we do age, our favorite colors change, and in fact, for the record, my favorite color is gray. Now, okay, so my birthday is in a month. Thought I'd make this video, give y'all some time to think about your gift. You know, every time my birthday comes around, I feel like I should have more feelings about it than I do. You know, like I've never been one that's super celebratory of my birthday. Yeah, I feel the same as I've always felt. I've always felt like this. Nonetheless, in this video, I wanted to go over things that have stuck with me over the years, like the thoughts that have been consistent over the years. Now, I won't just be talking in this video, I will also be painting abstractly. You know, because it's kind of a moment, like we're done.
Oh, you're taking everything down.
It's down, baby.
Forever?
Baby, are you down, 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 down,
That's
down?
what it is tonight. Down.
It's out.
Stay right there, don't.
Okay, to get started, this is 1.85 meters by 5 meters. Okay, we're gonna go 1.8 meters across. Oh shit, hold on. Oh my, it's literally perfect. Yeah, it's time to go. I've talked about this in another video that I made. I did an apartment tour. Hear me out. All this goes in the trash. And I get a big, big, big tableau. This is a tableau, like a painting. I want one from floor to ceiling. One. And I want it to be like black and white, I think. It's just gotta go. It's gotta go. So the first painting that's gotta go is one that I made. Gotta go. Gotta go. Yeah, he's gotta go. I only put this here because I felt like it needed more balance on that side, but it's gotta go. The whole wall here revolved around this red painting. It was one of the first ones that I found. I like the abstract style. I kind of like that you don't really know what's going on. I liked the colors, but it's gotta go. The last painting, which is actually just a print from Centre Pompidou that I bought at the gift shop, has to go as well, but this is the style I'm going for. In fact, this is the style that I took to Rougier Play, the art supply store here, and said like, this is what I want to do. See what I'm saying?
Wait. Which size?
About to get this canvas. They're massive. And that's it. But everybody, it's gotta go. And now the project can officially begin. Everything is an experiment. Everything is a test. Now this is lesson 1. You know what I tell myself anytime I don't know exactly if it's gonna work out? I'm doing it for my future self. Like, it's actually more in your favor to do things now as you're young, because then for the rest of your life, you know the answer, right? So there's really no reason to be anxious. Like, if this doesn't work out, guess what? I can put the other paintings back up. Before, and that's okay. I've had variations of this saying throughout my life, like, you'll never know unless you go. That's like the saying that took my ass all over the world. You never know until you go basically is an experiment too, because you never know what's gonna happen until you go. Here's the reasoning behind you'll never know until you go and everything is a test and experiment. Number 1, nobody can predict the future. Nobody can predict the future, so you really just have to, like, this is ultimately like what confidence is. Some people are just okay that no matter what happens, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. Whatever happens, you'll make it work. It's almost like you can't ever lose with that mentality. Because no matter what happens, even in worst case scenario, you will have learned new information, which then negates the losing because you won the information. So Let's put this. Losing? What is it? What is that? I'm like, I don't even mean to take it there, but sometimes I get exhausted if I'm around people who are like ruminating too much, questioning too much, like not inactive people. Like just do it. Just do it, figure it out, move on, go from there, yeah. Based on the tarp in front of me right now, this is way too big for the wall. It needs to be smaller. I'm going to put the primer on. Gesso. I just learned about this at the store. I gotta put that on. I'm gonna have fun. Everything's an experiment. Okay, so. This is an undercoat for all paintings, dries in 30 minutes, can be sanded after, oh shit, wait, I'm supposed to sand something. I'm not painting the whole thing. You know, actually fuck it, I'm gonna paint the whole thing. And then I'm going to cut, and that's what's going to be my painting. Uh-oh. Don't. No. Okay. Like that, I guess. This was the style that I'm going for. Like, I think gesso is just something you're supposed to put on before so that you could put your paint on. But what if the gesso is the style? What if the gesso is the style? Why not? Says who? Okay, let's go on just like consistent thought number 2. You don't need more advice. Like, what if you just didn't need more advice? What if? I think it's really helpful thought because a lot of people get stuck with not knowing if what they're doing is right. Guess what? The right way was just somebody's way at one time. What if your way was just as good as that original person's and you became the example? What if, ooh. You know what's nice with this mindset though? If you're okay with just setting the example for yourself, then you no longer need to rely on having role models, having representation, having idols. Cause you're about to be it. Like, you're the first one for everyone else. The way I think of it is like, what if I was the only one on earth? What if I was the only one on earth right now? And then I go from there. So, ok, là il y a beaucoup, non? Mais des fois c'est bien d'avoir un truc plus large que les autres. Je vais faire un truc juste pour voir ce que ça donne. Et ça fait rien. I guess it helps when your style is more experimental. You know, like if I were going for something that looks like something else, I wouldn't be good at that. Again, totally guessing right now, but I think maybe this will look more complete if I do make it some sort of like frame around it. You know, like you can kind of see a frame. And now I'm just gonna fill in. Ooh, I also like when there's like chunks of paint on it, you know, like that. You know what else? I think this will look better. I don't know how to do this yet, but when it's pulled. You know how in the last video I was telling you how I had this new crush? Well, we can forget about him because I did make it clear that I wanted to go have a picnic, juste lui et moi. And so I said that. He responded, je préfère qu'on soit amis. And what I wanted to say was, I wanted to send him a voice note, rejected. And there was some voice in my head like, no, don't say that. That's not like the right thing to say. And then I was like, but what? I literally just said that to myself. Like, whose game am I playing? If I'm not saying the things that I actually want to say or that I literally just said, then what am I doing? So I end up responding, reject. That's funny. Like, you know, like I'm gonna start filling it in. We're gonna fill it in. How will you know, Damon, if you don't try? So yes, if anyone's keeping track, that's now 2 rejections this year. I just had this realization thought, I don't know if this is true, but maybe the reason I like this style is because this would never fly in Indiana. People would be like, your wall is unfinished. Wall is unfinished, and so it's different. And I think that's why I like it. It's not the same. Rejected. It's done. It's not
It looks
done.
good.
It's not done at all. That's
How long did they take you to tape it up?
that. You see how much tape is on it? No, I just walked in the room and this is what happened. Okay. So everything is an experiment. What if you didn't need more advice? And knowing what season you're in. Right now, I am in such a slow season, and this is. Am I in focus? I can't ever see. We're gonna wait for the primer to dry, and then we'll go in with the sandpaper and the encre de Chine, Chinese ink. They recommended ink and not paint to get this. Remember, I'm going for this. He said that's ink, and I was like, of course it's ink. They use it's from a printer. He's like, no, like it was actually painted with ink. I was like, oh, so double ink actually. Okay, knowing what season you're in. This is the next one. Knowing what season you're in is important because I would say for the most part, I'm like a very like active person in general. Like I like to have more things going on. But right now, I'd say my schedule's very open, and I'm not used to having such a slow life. I mean, part of that is because I'm waiting for my visa to be thrown out the freaking window. Nonetheless, I realized that every stage, every phase, every life turn is just a temporary one. So I know that my life is slow right now, but I also know the next few videos I'm gonna be traveling. So I'm just kind of enjoying this time and doing like home improvement projects as we see. But also reminding yourself what season you're in is important because especially when you live in a big city, there's constantly like the transience, is that the word? When it's a very transient place. People are always coming and going. Maybe their visa doesn't get renewed. Maybe they find a job in another city. When you live in a big, I feel like this wasn't the case when I was growing up in Indiana. I feel like most people grow up in Indiana, they stay in Indiana. I don't know if that's just because that's Indiana or if it's because now with the internet, people see their options so they're more likely to move. So maybe people growing up in Indiana now are actually also moving. I'm not sure. But when I was growing up, I felt like everyone just stayed in the same place. And that was comforting because you always knew like the people I meet are going to be here. When you move to a big city, I feel like you have a few years with your friends before people maybe start moving on. And you never know how long a relationship's going to last. Every time one of my friends leaves Paris, like they move back to New York or wherever, I always question, like, what are they seeing that I'm not? To uproot your life to another city, let alone another country, like requires a lot of introspection. So if somebody is willing to do that, then damn, they must have felt really strongly about it. Thus, ça me remet en question, well, am I not thinking as hard about this as they did? But see, this is why it's important to know what season you're in, because then other people's actions, other people moving in and out, doesn't affect where you're at. Like in an ideal world, everyone would be in the same season at the same time, but that's not how life works. So it's something I've learned in the past few years. Oh, is it falling again? Oh no, hold on, whoa. Okay, we're about to sandpaper, which by the way, in French you say glass paper. I was in the store the other day like, I need sandpaper, and he's like, we only have glass paper. I was like, glass paper? And then he showed me this, I'm like, that's sandpaper. They call it glass paper. Okay, that's what I'm saying, like life is just more fun. Like that wouldn't have happened if I were back in my native country. Like I'm having fun talking about sandpaper. Glass paper. Depends which country you're in. This video is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is a platform that you can use to be connected with a therapist, licensed trained therapist, to help you in whatever aspect of your life you need help with, or guidance. In regards to the last life lesson or thing that I've really been consistent thought that I've had, knowing what season you're in is super important, but also having a therapist can help you decipher that. At the time I was using BetterHelp, I was telling my therapist, you know, I feel like I've done the courses, I've written the book, I've been doing YouTube now for like however many years, I've lived in Paris for a few years, and I feel like I don't have the next obvious step. Like, for the first time, I don't have the next obvious step. So I had two questions. Really, what changed in myself that now I don't have the next step? Question two, is this just like the monotony of life? That there will be some free time, or that there will be some repetition and routine, that not every street you turn down is going to be the most exciting and most, beautiful. The point is that in one of the sessions we did this experiment by Freud, the famous psychologist, where it was like a quadrant, and then she'd ask me a question. Details are fuzzy at this point, but she asked me a question and I responded within the first thing that came to my mind. Now, the conclusion of the exercise, everybody, was that we were able to conclude that one of the things that I value most in life, more than anything, is freedom. Like, really just let me live my life. That's where I'm at these days. And with that, I was able to have more peace of mind in terms of do I buy a house? No, you don't buy a house, because house doesn't equal freedom. So don't buy a house right now, Damon. That's not the season you're in. Should I be in a monogamous relationship like everybody else seems to be and seem happy to be in? Not necessarily. Why would you do so when you believe in freedom of desiring who you want, loving who you want? Of course, now I figured out that I believe in a primary partner, and then you can hoo-hoo ha-ha on the side, as long as everyone's being honest and telling each other, because it could be something that you share. Anyway, okay, third question. Should I move back to the States? Well, why would you move back to the States when you love to travel so much, and living in Europe allows you the freedom to travel more easily, in the sense that you can get to more countries in an hour or two, whereas if I lived in Miami, New York, it's gonna take me 6 hours to get anywhere that speaks another language. It was super helpful. So working with my therapist, I was able to figure out these things that, yes, I do value freedom, and that's maybe what I should keep reminding myself as I do make more life decisions. So if you do want to try BetterHelp, you can do it all from your phone, from your computer, via phone call, video chat, text messaging. You'll answer a few questions on their website, and then BetterHelp will connect you with a therapist, usually within 48 hours. But I feel like this is important to mention, because I had always thought therapy was when things weren't going right in your life. And it doesn't have to be for that. It can also just be you getting to know yourself more. So if you do want to try out BetterHelp, you can use the link on the screen or in the description box below, betterhelp.com/Damon, and you can get a special discount on your first month. Boom! So, sandpaper. You know what? I'm actually still thinking about how helpful it was to identify what one of my top values was. Freedom, which is not the case for everyone. Maybe yours is comfort, maybe yours is community, and this can change, right? But I would say that mine has been freedom for a while now, and I say it's helpful because I was then able to use that to help me make all the other decisions in my life, which, again, I'm repeating myself, but oh my God, it's all making sense. For me, the response entrepreneur wasn't about business, it was about freedom. All right, let's go. So this is ink. Oh, love it. G-Unit. Yo. Shot to swing my way. Darker. All right, the next consistent thought I've had over the past few years, the days are over where I'm forcing myself to be somewhere I don't want to be. If I'm out at the club and I'm literally not having fun. You can go home. And again, it's liberating. Freedom. It's liberating because then you're living your life from a place of, you're happy to be everywhere you are. I'm almost convinced that the bottom line of life is fun. If you are not having fun, what is the point? Isn't the whole point of life fun? I know some of y'all at home are like, what is he doing? And that's fine, because I'm so happy. Have you guys ever realized how much of your life is wasted wishing you were doing something else? I will never forget when I was in 10th grade, I think he was English teacher, he was saying, y'all are always wishing for the next break. And then when that break comes, you're wishing to be back in school, to see your friends. Then when you're in school, you're wishing for spring break. Do you guys know how much time you waste wishing you were somewhere else than you are? So why don't you just save yourself all the back and forth and just enjoy where you're at now? I had this experience a few years ago where I took LSD. By the way, really not for everybody. That one is not for everybody, just letting you know. But I did get a lot from it, but I think that's just naturally because I'm just always thinking about things. I was in another dimension. I swear I went to some other dimension and I just wanted to get back to my life. I just wanted to get back to this life. It was like I sprung up out of this universe and I was able to see that I guess my soul was more than just the ego of Damon Dominique. Like I had lived multiple lives in different eras and different generations as different people, and I wanted to get back to this life. What should have been an overall net negative experience, I was able to make peace with it and, draw some conclusions, and this being one of them. I want to be here. I want to be in every room I'm in. Because if I don't, then I'm leaving. Then I'm leaving. It's time to go home. I'm going home to watch Sex and the City. It's not this, but it's something like this. I think, okay, I'm not done with that lesson. There's a book that I actually need to read called Wherever You Go, There You Are. I don't even think it's that. It's not even that wherever you go, there you are. It's more like wherever you go, you can leave if you want to. And therefore, if you choose not to leave, then actively choose to be there. And make it what you want. Right? Right? Did I just mess it up? Ah! Just kidding, can't mess it up. There's no way to mess it up, baby. But you know what I'm saying? I think people go places and have the expectation to be entertained when you have to bring the entertainment. Like tonight, I'm gonna go out. Baby, are you down, 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 down?
Here's tonight. Down.
The second to last lesson here. Fine is the F word. Here's what you should never do. You should never look at your piece of art, your video, your work project and be like, it's fine. Fine? It's fine? Fine. Like that's all you're gonna give this. Like you're telling me by some odd, unique chance, you had an opportunity to live here on Earth and you're just gonna go with fine. Fine. What about let me give this my all, I strive for excellence? Like if fine is all you're gonna give it, why even try? Fine. No! It's fine. No, it's not. I think up there is a little too clean. Why not? Says who? Says who? It all worked out. Like been rejected like 3 times this week. It's all working out. Yes. The last sentence that I feel myself saying over and over is that we're all just waiting until the next thing to make sense of the last thing. You'll only ever know what like this season means until the next season, and then you can look back and be like, oh, I was on the right path, or oh, I wasn't on the right path, or oh, Damon, all this reshuffling of your love life right now, I'm still waiting for like my next relationship or like whatever pans out for this phase of mine to make sense. Does that make sense? I don't know if that made sense. I don't know if that made sense. But I think that's also why we feel so nostalgic towards other phases in our life. We feel so nostalgic because when we look back, we're only seeing like a complete time. But when we were in that time, we were still confused about what the future was gonna bring. And so it didn't feel so nostalgic when we were back in those times. I don't know, just like bump up the music and like cut to black. So right now my season's very slow, and I'm okay with that right now. Like I realize this is the season and it's temporary and life is always changing, and I know that in 1 month I'm gonna be taking off and gonna go travel. I'm gonna go travel again for a little bit, go visit my family. It's time. And then I'll come back to Paris and see what the winter has in store. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'm actually very happy with how this turned out. I'm gonna pull it, redo my whole apartment. It needs to dry. If you wanna sign up for BetterHelp, you see the link in the description box below. If you want to get the pre-order of my book coming out October 22nd, link in the description box below. And if you want to get on the newsletter with all of the apartment swaps and unique opportunities around the world, link in the description box below. Very excited. Like, I'm excited that I did it and now I know. Lesson 1. All right, see y'all later. I think it fits in here.
I think it's very severe. It's very severe. See how he doesn't do too much? It's just enough. He's not putting art on the wall like other girls. He's very mindful. He's very cutesy. And very demure.
Making the art. It really does fit though.
Yeah.
I think it looks better now. Like the wrinkles, something happened with it.
She relaxed.
She relaxed.
She relaxed into it.
Like I'm so happy.
It looks great.
I'm happy with how it looks. Like I would buy something like this, but I'm also happy that I fulfilled that curiosity. I've been wondering for like the past year what I could do with this wall, and I wanted a floor to ceiling. I'm happy that I figured out how to actually paint something.
Now, if you've been watching this channel for the past year, and by the way, I say that because some of y'all will come up to me and be like, oh, so where are you living now? I'm like, you guys really fell off a long time ago, didn't you? Oh yeah.
Oh, you're redoing them.
The whole thing.
Oh, I thought you were throwing them away. That's why I was like, really? Yeah.
Now, because I feel like I'm starting the next phase in my life, the next chapter, which again wasn't like really my doing, it's just like I feel like I'm being forced, not forced, but like sometimes the chapter starts and like you didn't know that one was closing. Like you didn't know that you were writing the last chapter's end until it's now the start of the next chapter. Anyways, I say it because I've been waiting for the next chapter of this wall. It's time to redo the wall. It's gonna look so good in here. It's gonna look so good. So I thought that I would make this video because I feel like it's very symbolic, abstract art. You draw the meaning that you need out of your life. Isn't all of our life, like all of our lives to some point, are abstract art? No. So out of breath. Like
Before picture. Like that is like literally your energy though. That is how I feel. I need everyone to see what like Damon is working with.
See, but this is sometimes the thing. Because I showed you that one, you're always going to be comparing that to that, which shouldn't be the case. I should have just thrown that away. I mean, I'm not throwing anything away, by the way. Everything's staying in a corner. It's giving emo. Do you have the time to listen to me whine? I had another, let me just mix these together. There was another one that was like, you don't have to have a bad attitude just because you're in a bad mood. You can always have a good attitude, even when you're in a bad mood. Like, at the end of the day, everything's a choice. You don't have to like where you're at, but you don't have to be désagréable all the time. Also, very interesting how, like, of all the humans who have ever lived, like, we will only ever know, like, 0.01%. Like, who's this? Maybe my bestest friend actually existed in, like, 1920. Like, the most compatible with my personality and my, like, life vision. What if they were actually around in 1920? What I mean is, like, when you look back in history, I think it's very easy to be distant from it, like to feel like you don't connect to it at all when really, like there are people just like you who were living back then who probably thought the same way you did, found the same jokes funny, but you'll never like know that they exist. There's something really interesting about it. Hey, I'm gonna do the bare minimum because that's fine. Or you could do something really cool.
Caffeine addict.
Okay, we're good. Thank you. Do you want one? Come on, get over there. As if you care.